Hey everyone, welcome to Beyond Belief. This is me, Carlin Ray, and my cohort, Bonnie Worth. And
Hello.
today, we're going to do something a little different. And I'm just going to take a second. I didn't tell Bonnie I was going to say this. I want to apologize to everybody because I know that you're not getting videos on the ongoing in our Beyond Belief channel right now. Um, and I just want you to understand it's one of the reasons why we're going to do what we're doing today. Things have been crazy hectic. We probably picked the wrong time to start our YouTube channel, honestly, right? Because we started in
Yeah.
the summertime like freaking idiots.
Yeah.
Because life isn't busy in the summertime and everybody isn't really busy in the summertime. So we haven't really been able to get together as often as
Mhm.
we have been planning, and that will change come September. But also, the thing that a lot of people aren't necessarily grasping or understanding is that our world is changing so quickly and so rapidly, and everybody's energies levels are dropping so fast, and people are becoming tired so much quicker. And just because we're a clairvoyant and a medium doesn't mean that that doesn't happen to us either.
Right.
So, as frustrating as it is, and we truly do apologize that we're not being as steady as we want to be, and we will get there, but I just want everyone to know that we're doing so much work so that we can give you more when we're
Amen.
here. So if everybody could just be patient with us, because we
Yeah.
really are doing so much emotional, energetic, psychological, physical,
Technical.
technical, right, work so that we can really bring to you what we want to bring to you. I mean, you and I, Bonnie, we live in a world. So before I continue today, we're just going to talk. We're just going to
We're just
share
talking.
what we're sharing, right? Like this is just you guys get to get a glimpse in the world that is Bonnie and Carlin and how we tend to communicate with each other. That's what we're
Yeah.
doing today.
Yeah.
Um, and so I was going to say, Bonnie, I'm sure you've noticed this too. It feels to me, and maybe it's just me, maybe it's because I'm clairvoyant. I don't think it is, but it feels to me that days are rolling into each other and they're happening
Mhm.
so quickly that I just can't even blink. Right?
Mhm.
I got this big list of all these things that I want to get done, and and it's Friday. So I sit out and I bring my list because I'm done working with my clients on Friday at like 5, right? So I bring up my list because I'm like, okay, like I'm fully prepared all weekend. I'm going to work on
Yeah.
stuff. I'm going to build stuff. I'm going to do stuff. And then by the time I'm done, I don't know if anybody else is noticing this, but even when I set out a plan, right? Like it's like Murphy's law has come into effect in such a big way. I'm just sitting down, I'm ready to start doing my recordings, and one of my kids called who's been in a car accident and they need mom, and I got to
Mhm.
leave and I got to go do that. Or you know, I get a massive headache because I've had to prepare so much. Like it's like our world has changed
Mhm.
so drastically that, and I'm sure it's the same for you. I'm trying to catch up,
Yeah. Oh
right?
my gosh.
I'm
My
trying to catch
to-do
up.
list. I've never had so much on my to-do list. And I think what's been really interesting over this it's really been, we can talk about summer and being busy in summer, but the energy cycles that we have been
Mm,
in are just, it's like time is almost non-existent.
hmm.
And again, that's a big part of it is right now for the people that are, are the mediums of the world and understanding there's no veil. And
No.
because there's no veil of separation right now, there is no such thing as really time in that same understanding as what we've had it. That's been one of the biggest things about, we can look at the other side is to
Yeah.
there is no such thing as time.
No.
But right now with the energies right now, there's such an overlap between the physical and non-physical worlds. There's no veil, which means we're experiencing the no
Yeah.
time gap that basically is taking place in the
Huge.
spirit world, which
Yeah.
again, the to-do list, like I exactly like life interrupted. Like that's really what it's become.
Huge.
And I remember a couple years ago when we first moved into our condo, Nolan bought me a beautiful picture to go up on the wall, and it says, "Let whatever you do today be enough."
Yeah.
And these last few weeks, that every time I look up, that continues like just let it be enough. Just let it be enough because
Yeah.
there's this the greatest of intention. The greatest of
Yeah.
intention. Here's my to-do
100%.
list. Here's the things I'd like to get done. That's not what's
No.
happening. I'm being
No.
pulled in different directions, but more than anything, I'm caught up in hours of channeling. I have never written as much as I've written in the last 3 months to save my soul. I can't, I just, it's just been nonstop, the writing, the writing.
100%.
And,
Well, and I don't know about you. I don't know about you, sweetheart, but I know for me, because that's, you know me, I write. That's how I
mhm,
do my channeling to start
me
off with.
too.
It's the same reason why I write when I'm in a session, because then it can keep me on balance. It can keep me on point, right?
Yes.
But it's crazy because I'm putting so much, I'm channeling, I'm
Yes.
downloading so much
Downloading.
information that by the time
Yeah.
I'm done the writing, I am so exhausted. I look
Right.
like I've aged 10 years that day, just that day, but I look like I've aged 10 years in that day. So I'm certainly not going on camera. And I'm so
Right.
freaking tired that
Yeah.
even when I do hit record to share everything that I've channeled because I so want to,
Yeah.
I have never in my life been in a position that I'm hitting record and deleting videos 20 times in a day. I am a freaking public speaker. Okay.
Right. Right.
I
I
am
get
the
it.
off the cuff, the entire
Yeah.
neighborhood shows up while I'm talking and swarms in, and I am hitting delete on
Yeah.
like 10 videos, 15 videos, and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta go to bed. Like I'll do the videos, I gotta go to bed. And then I get up tomorrow and I'm like, okay, Carlin, your hair's done, you're ready. You're gonna sit down, you're gonna do
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
videos,
Today's the
you've written
day.
the script, right? You've written the
Yeah.
script, you're ready to go. And they're like, oh hell no. And then they click the download button on again. And now I'm downloading another
Yes.
10 scripts. Like, I
Yes.
gotta tell you, if I can ever get these recorded, I got like 50 videos
I
ready.
know.
Like I just have to record them because,
Yep.
but every time I come to sit down to do it again, they're like, oh, next.
Yeah.
Right?
It's
Because
it's
because the veil's not there.
right, exactly. And it's constantly. It's
Yeah.
constant in it's a constant communication. It's a constant engagement, and there's I'm going to say this steady downflow of not just inspiration but information that needs
Oh
to be
yeah.
translated, right? So we can bring it in. And I don't know what it's like when your guides talk to you, but it's not necessarily in I would say sometimes in a structure or in words that maybe really make sense to like a conversation you and I are having.
Wouldn't that
And
be
so,
nice? Would
wouldn't
that not be
it?
nice? I'm like, you couldn't just sit down. I'll make you a fucking tea. Like, you couldn't.
Right. Right.
No, that's not how it works. No.
And again, and again, when you talk about being so tired from it, that's what most people don't understand is as individuals who channel, because of the frequencies of energies that we have running through us as that's
Yeah.
happening, our physical body becomes it's natural in to experience when we experience high vibration, it's
Mm.
natural for the physical body to want to go into a sleep cycle,
Of
because in a
course.
sleep cycle it can raise the frequency like that to match it, right?
Yes.
So when we're working and you're channeling and bringing all this through, now when you're done, you're like, oh my God, I'm exhausted. I feel like I ran a marathon. I can't function. I can't focus anymore. I got to close this day down.
Oh
But
yeah.
even in closing down the day, like, I don't know about you, but I mean,
I'm
my
still
sleep
laying in bed for
patterns,
4 hours
I'm
channeling.
still exactly,
Yeah.
it's still happening
Oh
nonstop.
yeah.
And even with, this is one of the biggest things, when I always teach people about the importance of boundaries between the physical and non-physical world. And we, of course, we know as coaches, as human beings, we need to have boundaries in order to have a healthy life. And it's like the boundaries don't even matter right now
They
either.
don't.
It's because what needs to come through is more important than the needs of our ego.
Well, and because our world is in such chaos that it's actually, a lot of people don't understand that what used to work in our lives, right?
Right.
Even if it just worked for function, right?
Yeah.
What used to work in our lives doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
The energy boundaries have changed. The
Big time.
levels of energy have changed. Now, I mean that's obvious. Like I understand that even as a psychologist I understand that because
Yeah.
we're put in such high levels of stress now, right?
Yeah.
There's a reason why anxiety levels are so absolutely high, why so many
Mhm.
more adults are being diagnosed with ADHD now,
Right.
why people are feeling the brain fog that they're feeling and the
Yeah.
and it's easy to understand. Like as a psychologist, I understand this. We have been in constant chaos, alert, and alarm since
Mhm.
2019, right?
Right.
So our bodies and our minds are not actually supposed to be in this state for this length of time. And there is no other state anymore. There is
Right.
no other state of being anymore than in alarm, right? And if anyone's paying attention, like even when you're calm and relaxed, you can't shut your mind down. Like it used to be
Right.
just people like you and me had a tough time shutting our mind down. And so then we'd go and
Yes.
we'd meditate. But nobody can shut their mind. We're all too, we're on alert all the time. Our
Yeah.
army, our protection is on all of
All
the
the time.
time. And so, of course, that changes all energy. It changes all vibration. It changes how absolutely everything functions. And I mean, everybody else has got to be noticing this, right? You're
I would imagine
like, you
so. I know
can't
I
not
certainly
notice
am.
it, right? Like,
Yeah.
I know that we notice it because of what we do, but we also deal with clients literally
Mhm.
every day
Mhm.
that are telling us the same stories. I can't,
Yes.
it used to be that when I was really in sync with the universe, I'd get in my car, I'd go somewhere, I'd get there, and then I'd look around and be like, how the frig did I get here? Right?
Right?
That used to be occasionally. That used to
Yes.
be occasionally. I'm almost scared to drive because every time I get somewhere now, I'm looking around and I'm like, how did, right? Like I don't have any recollection
Mhm.
of how I got here.
Right.
I
And
mean,
for
I know I did
me,
because I'm in my car, right? But
yes, yes. And I've definitely experienced that too. And I've also been into this point where I've been saying, to my guides, I've been like, you guys need to regulate something here because I got to focus. I don't, on traffic.
oh
Help me
yeah.
to pay attention. Like, is there even a pedestrian? Did I miss a pedestrian? Did I hit a pedestrian? I don't even, right? I'm
Oh, I know.
like it,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been really challenging. And that's just it. We're so out of this world right now
Yeah.
in the energies and the vibration of everything. And I know my clients too, everyone I talk to has been either not sleeping very well,
Yep.
they've been having lots of headaches,
Oh,
they feel
the
like they've
headaches.
completely brain fog, they just can't shake
Hmm.
the brain fog, just everything. But that's not just what is going on for us in terms of our own physical
Nope.
well-being that we need to
And it's
address.
not just the
It's the
planes going over
it's
our
no,
cities that
it's
are doing our cloud
not.
control and pouring stuff on us. I mean,
No.
it's happening
This
for
is
sure, but that's
and
not all.
this is not anything, and again, I don't want to get
Yep.
into this other, it's not because of any vaccination or
Nope.
anything else that's out
Nope.
there. It's the energy. It's
100%.
the energy that's out there.
100%. And it's so sorry. I apologize because
No,
you know
it's
how
okay.
excited I get when it comes. You
I
can hear my
know,
voice
right?
raise. You're like, oh, here comes KJ.
Here it
Jesus.
comes.
I'm so sorry, everybody. It's just how I function. But here's the thing, right? It's because I understand, and you and I sometimes process things differently. Not that our belief systems are different because they're not, but
Mm-mm.
how we do it is a little different.
Yeah.
I am well aware. So before anybody comes back on this and says, "Well, no, the vaccinations are definitely a problem," and
Yeah.
this is, I'm
That's
well
I was
aware.
hesitant, right? I was even hesitant to say it. I
I
just,
know, I
right?
know. I'm
I'm
like,
like,
well aware. I'm well
yeah,
aware. I live
yeah,
here too, just like the
yes,
rest of you. And I have this crazy little thing called common sense that exists in my mind. And when
yes,
I'm not using common sense, I also
yeah.
happen to be Canada stop clairvoyant. So
And I
I
just
can
in
actually read between the lines. I do get
and
it.
in adding to that just really quickly, and it's not to take away from the people who
None,
are legit
none.
suffering in it.
Nope.
That's 100%. That's real. That's real.
Without a
They are
doubt.
right,
With
and it's not to diminish
absolutely
that at all.
not even a
Yes.
little bit. But everything is being, the problem that arises is that, and it's a part of what's creating the chaos because
Mhm.
everybody's going to, this is why the brain
Yes.
fog is, because they're pouring chemicals all over our cities. The brain fog is
Mhm.
because of the vaccines. The brain, like, and I'm not saying that
Yes.
those things aren't
Yes.
happening.
And yes, and
Exactly. Exactly. What I am saying is that those things have been happening for a long time. Just because you're aware of it now doesn't actually mean that it's new. Just FYI. Okay.
yeah,
Just everybody understands. It's a little more obvious now. So
yeah,
that can't actually be the whole reason. The whole
right.
reason is that our energies are changing when you vibrate at a different frequency, and every single person on this planet, no matter where you live, are
Mhm.
vibrating at the frequency of anxiousness. It is a different frequency,
Yes.
right? We're vibrating in the frequency of struggling. We're vibrating in the frequency of anxiety. We're vibrating in the frequency of chaos.
Mhm.
Okay. It used to be that just some of us did.
Right.
Okay. And other people could focus. And, when it used to be the theory of, yeah, that happened, now get on with it, right? Like just plow through and get on with that. That
Yeah.
used to be able to exist.
Yeah.
It can't
Can't anymore.
anymore. It
Mm-mm.
cannot work anymore. The things that used to work, they're not working anymore.
Right.
Right now, the people that figured it out long ago, right? Like, so the Bob Proctors out there, and the gurus out there
Yeah.
that figured out how to function in that vibration, how to stay in a really high positive vibration. They're not struggling with it as much. They're still struggling, but they're not struggling as much because they're used to vibrating at a very high frequency.
Right.
Right. And I think this is very important for people to understand, because you and I are used to vibrating in a very high frequency. You don't do what
Right.
we do and not vibrate in a high frequency. So if it's screwing us up,
Right. Right. Yes. Yes.
what the hell do you think it's doing to you? Like,
Yes.
what do you think it's doing? Guys, I love you all so much, but what do you think it's
Yeah.
doing to you when you still question if what you're thinking is intuition or reality or
Mhm.
drama, truth or fiction? What do you think it's doing to you when you're a non-functioning empath and you can pick up on emotions but you don't necessarily know where they're coming from? Like, I'm a
Right.
functioning empath. I can pinpoint exactly where they're coming from. It doesn't
Yeah.
mean that they're not a whole stronger than they were a few years ago, right? Like,
Exactly, exactly. But this is also, I was just having a conversation with one of my clients a couple weeks ago. I was doing an intensive for her, and it really was about helping her. She's an extreme empath. She's a medium. How does she function and work? Because the energies are so challenging and
they are.
difficult right now. And in order to sustain vibration, to sustain a vibration, to remain in flow and connection with the other side, and be of service to people. I mean, it's a challenge, right? So how do
Mhm.
we understand and do this? And a big part of it is an understanding that we are participating in those energies. We are
Yes.
participatory in everything that's going on. It's irregardless of how long you've been doing this work,
Yep.
what your practices are that
What
have
your
worked in the
belief
past,
is.
what your beliefs are,
Yep.
etc. We're all participating in the same energies right now. So what
Yes.
becomes, some of I'm going to say the work now for us is how to discover how to no longer participate in certain vibrations.
Yes.
How do we not participate in, and how do we invoke our free will, or we could say our power of choice is the way to say it, to participate energetically with
Yep.
higher frequency energies?
Yep.
That's the work right now.
One of the ways that I could help people visualize what we're talking about is that right now in our world, and this started in 2019 to really affect us, but it takes time, right? Because vibration takes time to become a new normal, right? So before it
Yes.
was just a sense of alert, and now we're in alert normal. Alert is normal now.
Yeah.
So the way for people to be able to understand this is to think about, um, when it's a foggy day, and you can't see 2 or 3 feet in front of you, right? And so when you're in that little, when you're in the fog pocket, right? Like you're driving down the highway and you're in the fog pocket, you can see right up until the wall of the fog, crystal clear in the pocket.
Right.
But anything past the pocket you can't see. Right. So you have to be very aware of everything that you're doing. Right. So picture driving
Mhm.
on a foggy day. You have to be very aware, because you used to be able to see 6 feet ahead of you to be able to see if an animal was going to run onto the road or someone was slamming on their brakes, and now you can only see 3 feet in front of you because you can only see what's in your fog pocket. Right.
Yeah.
That's how we're living. Does that make sense? Is what I'm saying? Does that make
Totally.
sense?
Oh my God. Absolutely it does. Absolutely.
That's how we're
Yeah.
living every day.
Yes.
Every day. Every one of us, regardless of what your abilities are, what you're doing, what you're not doing, you're
Yeah.
living in a fog pocket. And so, because of that, you have to be more alert, because you
Mhm.
can't see as far ahead to prepare. You can't
Right.
see as far ahead to know what you should do. You can't see as far ahead to see if there's any stoplights that you could end up rear-ending. So you have to be so highly aware, because these fog pockets are very small.
Yeah.
And what you have to get to is, this is where everything has changed, right? You have to get to the point that you can raise your vibration above the fog.
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Because we're all
And not
living in a
just
constant state of
and
fog.
not just raise your vibration above the fog, being able to sustain it now at that higher level, that becomes a key part of it.
100%.
Because how easy it is to be, because the energies are so strong, those fog pockets are so strong that you get
Absolutely.
sucked back in like a vacuum. It just like back in here you
Well,
go,
and the
right?
problem is that most of us are living on that ground
Yes.
level. So we're
Yeah.
living in the fog pocket, right?
Yeah.
So now what you got to do is, it's like people that live in New York as an example, right? They go live in high rises. They live in high
Yeah.
rises so they
Yeah.
can see past all the fog, all the grossness, all the everything, and they can see the
Yeah.
blue skies. And they have to go move into a tall unit in order to be able to do that. And that's literally what we need to do, right? We
Hmm.
need to treat our energy like we need to move into a taller condo,
Yes.
and you got to
Yes.
stay there. You got to stay there,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Right now, everybody, it's like you go, it's like you're going into the Calgary Tower to go to the top so you can see what's above the fog, but then you get back in the elevator and you come back downstairs because you live on the ground,
Because you live exactly, because you live on the ground. Exactly.
right? And
Yeah.
that's what we've got to shift energetically.
Yeah.
And so for us, we have to figure out how to do it before we can show you how to do it. And that's
Mhm.
legitimately what we're here to do, is to show you how
Right.
to do, right? Like
Right.
that's our purpose, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a part of what this whole chaos is for us, because we've got to figure out how to get into a higher condo unit without moving,
With exactly, without making the big move.
without actually having to pack all my shit into boxes, hire the mover,
Yeah.
go buy the higher, taller condo, and actually move into the condo, so
Right.
that, and then don't leave,
Right.
right? So that's a part of what's creating the chaos. But that really
Yeah.
is what's happening to all of
Mhm.
us. And I love that they just said the fog, because I think everybody can sort of
It's so
relate to the
great.
fog
Oh,
pocket, right?
absolutely. Absolutely. That's
Yeah,
just it.
it's
And I think
brutal.
it really is. And, even in saying that, it's interesting too to look over, I would say, even these last 6 months. So we can say how we launched our YouTube channel in July and everything. But over the last 6 months, and especially these last 2 months through this right now, things, the work that I was doing previously has changed so significantly, and how it is that I'm doing my client sessions, how it is that I'm even functioning in what are let's call them my daily energetic habits, have
Oh yeah.
changed. So I'm trying to figure this out, because if I can figure out how to do it so that I can sustain that higher level of in the condo living that you just
Yeah.
explained, or above the fog,
Move into the high
I've
rise.
I've I've got to figure that out so I can help other
Yes.
people. And I know that, I mean, July for me was just an absolute blur. There was all
Oh
this
yeah.
list of things that are there, but in order for me to finish the to-do list, I have to get a handle on the energies first. I've got to figure this out
Well, you got
first,
to find a
because
way to
if
get back in a
I've got to
bubble,
find exactly back
right?
into, right?
Because that's how we
Yes.
function. See, what a lot of people
Yes.
don't understand is when you're doing the work that we do, when you're doing the work coming from the universe, when you're channeling, when you're manifesting, when you're using intuition, when you're using your empathy, when you're not letting your brain run the show,
So,
when
yeah.
your soul is running the show versus your brain running the show. When you go to do something, I'm sure it's the same with you. When you go to sit down and create a program that you're being guided to create, or teach a workshop that you're being guided to teach, or sit down with your clients to do the one-on-one sessions, I used to, because it
Yeah.
worked. It doesn't
Yeah.
anymore. I'm trying to figure out a new way to get my bubble. But I used to put myself in this little bubble, and that's
Mhm.
literally how I envisioned it. When I'm doing my work, when I'm talking to clients, everybody laughs at me because I use movies as an examples all the time, because it's the kind of thing that people can relate to. So
Yeah.
you use an example. Uh, the Twilight series, the
Oh,
Twilight
yeah, yeah,
movies,
yeah,
the
yeah.
vampires, Edward Cunning, or whatever the heck his name was. I can't remember anymore. Anyway, at the very last movie, Bella was able to figure out her gift as a vampire was she was able to project her shield out, and you could see it like a film.
Right.
Project her field out, her shield out, and surround people into her bubble. Well, that's what I used to do, right?
Right.
When I watched that in the movie, I was like, oh my god, that's called a vampire. Yeah, I'm a vampire. So cool, right? Everybody's laughing. My whole family's all looking at me. They're like, "You do know that this is from somebody's imagination, right?" I'm like, "You do understand somebody's imagination stems from an experience, right?
Exactly. I was just
You
gonna
don't
say,
get
you
frustrated." And I'm
need
like,
to
"You call
understand.
that imagination, I call that another plane, okay? And as soon as I
Right?
can figure out how to morph from Vegas over to fucking Hogwarts, it's happening. Just so that you
Right.
know,
Just
right?
so you know.
Just so you know, it's my screen protector now because Brian's just pre-preparing for me. But so I used to be able to do that, right? I would just extend
Yes.
my bubble, and it didn't matter if it was on a video or anything. I would extend my bubble. I'd surround my bubble around them. Then they'd be in my space. That's how I used to be able to do my work. Once I got them into my space, I could see everything. Right.
Yeah.
I got access complete. It's like I unlocked the key and I got access into their soul and into their mind and into their
Yeah.
experiences. And it was so comfy, right? They
Mhm.
all wanted to stay in the bubble because it's just so comfy. And now I'm having to figure out, and good thing we have the experience we do and we have the ability we do because I can still do it, but I don't have the bubble anymore.
Right. There's no bubble.
I don't have the bubble anymore. I
No.
can't.
No.
So now I'm having to strain. See, before I just pull you into my bubble
Oh,
and
yeah,
there was no
yeah.
strain, right?
Yes.
It's like before, if you were too far away, I'd have to stick on my glasses so that I could see you further out, right? Which also, just for the record, just on a total separate note, crazy, crazy, because it's also affecting my eyesight,
Yes. 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 Yes.
right?
Yes.
Have you noticed I'm
100%
not wearing
yes.
my glasses?
I do notice that. And I've been taking my glasses off more often than I ever did before, not needing
Yeah.
to maybe to wear glasses, even for reading, which is really bizarre because I've been
I went
wearing
from being
glasses
farsighted to
like in
nearsighted
grade,
overnight.
right, like in grade 4. I've been wearing glasses to read since grade 4.
I can't wear them to read.
Yes.
And before anyone says anything, please understand I am not an idiot. I just want you to know in advance I am not stupid. Just in case you're curious, I am aware that I am in my 50s
I
and
know,
our
right?
prescriptions change quickly in my 50s. That is not what
Right.
I'm talking
That's
about,
not what this
okay?
is about.
I'm not talking about I woke up one day and now I
No.
need bifocals.
Right.
I'm talking about I can't actually physically have my glasses on while I'm working because as
Yes.
soon as I put my glasses on, I can't actually see you on the screen and I can't see what I'm writing in my notes and I can't see what's going on in my imaging.
Hmm. Hmm.
I actually have to have them off.
Yes. Yes. It's no different, I say, and this is, I mean, this we've talked about this before because I don't know if people ever noticed, both you and I have the bone conductor
Yes,
headsets because I can't hear anything from the non-physical world if my ears are plugged,
I can't.
like at all.
I
So I have
cannot.
to take when I'm channeling, my glasses are off and I'm writing
Yes.
with pen and paper,
Yes.
like, and I'm writing, but I have no glasses on. And just like when
Yeah.
I'm listening, even clairaudiently, I can't have if I have anything in my ears, I'm cut off.
See,
It's not coming in.
and I'm going to take this even further because you notice how you, my lovely, can wear your bone conductors just like what I
Yes.
have right here. This is what she's wearing, just so you guys
Yep.
all know. And it sits the back of the neck. I don't know if it's because I'm a clairvoyant, because this band touching the back of my neck shuts me off.
Oh, you know what? Well, yeah, because that's the mouth of God back there.
I
There's where
can't.
all of the information gets downloaded.
So I had to change to these.
Oh yeah, I've got those too.
I had to
Hmm.
change to the bone conductors that just sit on my
Just
ear.
the ear.
I had to get the microphone that sits in front of me because I
Yeah.
can't use this microphone anymore because it just crackles, right?
Yes.
Because the pressure right here stops me from, it's like the easiest way for me to explain it, because I used to describe to people as a clairvoyant, I'm a seer. And so when I would sit with a client or I would be working, it's like I'm watching a movie at a super fast speed in my brain. So it's like my brain turns into a projector and all I see in front of me is this movie at a super fast speed, right? So picture having your amazing TV screen and you're watching your movie, and then half of your screen loses its ability to see anything, and you get this big line in half of it, and everything underneath is all squibbles.
Oh
Do you know
yeah,
what I'm talking
yeah.
about?
Yeah, I
That's what
totally get
happens
that.
when I wear one of these.
Wow.
That's what happens when it's touching my neck now,
Amazing. Amazing. I don't think mine
right?
actually touches my neck. I'm feeling it here now. I'm
I,
like, I've got a real gap in
yours,
here.
you might, good on you. I apparently have a very thick head.
Yeah.
So
Apparently,
it does,
apparently.
apparently, because it does. And as soon as I feel that pressure, right? And the
Yeah,
weird thing is that as soon as the pressure hits, right? Like even that Brian's used this, there's no issues. He has no issues whatsoever. As soon as I turn it on,
right.
all it does is crackle
Yeah.
because
Wow.
it blocks one of my receptors.
Yeah.
Because it blocks one of my receptors, I
Yeah.
fry it.
Right. Wow. Just like that. It's funny. I know, right? We blow technology out all the time, but like here it's like, the universe is saying, no, 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 no. We need to talk to her, so we're just gonna
Yeah.
crack this so we can get in.
Yeah. And
We
they're
need to get
surrounding
through.
me. That's the other
Yeah.
thing. Like it's like
Yeah.
I can't get away from it.
Yeah.
I used to be entertained because I could feel them all the time. It, you're gonna laugh because I used to have people say, "Isn't it scary that you never feel like you're alone?" And I'm like, I don't know what alone feels like, right? It's one of the reasons why I've
Right.
always loved Las Vegas because it is even too chaotic for me. It's like the quietest place on earth for me. And I say that to people and they're all looking at me like Las Vegas, like Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yeah.
You're talking about
Yeah.
Vegas. You're
Yeah.
talking about casinos and
It's got way too many dead people for me. I'm just saying.
right. It's got and this is the crazy thing. It is so chaotic for me
Yeah.
that it's the quietest place on the planet. But you get me into Arizona, I can't function.
Really? Hey, isn't that
I'm
wild?
meltdown. I am meltdown. There are way too many dead people. Way too
Wow.
many dead people, 10 feet into the ground in the desert, freaking everywhere. They were all
Yeah.
shot point blank.
Like,
Like it's like I feel like
right?
I walk into a mafia scene as soon as I drive into
Exactly.
Arizona. I'm like, I gotta go.
Exactly.
Which is
Yeah.
wild. You'd think I'd feel that in Vegas. I'm sure it's because I'm a gambler that I won't allow myself to feel that way. Maybe it's because I've been the mafia so many times that every time I drive through Arizona,
In
I
every,
know that I shot people in various
yeah,
in other
yeah,
lives.
that's just your guilt perpetuating from a
Could be.
previous lifetime. That's all
It's
that is.
entirely possible. I will not lie. I will not make that is not an option. It could be an option for sure. But
Yeah.
yeah, so for me it's that's the other thing that shifted is that everything is so like I, it used to be that thank you. It used to be that I was just comfortable with having them around me all the time and it was my
Yeah.
normal and it used to freak everybody else out, but they were in my peripheral. It's like I
Hmm.
could stick up my bubble and they were on the outside of it. So I
Yeah.
felt
Yeah.
them, but I didn't I got to pick and
They're
choose.
they're in the bubble now with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome to my world.
Yeah. Like
But you know, it's really interesting, even in saying all of this and the fact that, I mean, again, I love it, it's so true. I love what you said because I've never known what it's like to not be like to totally be alone. I've never been alone.
mm-mm.
That's not so to me, that's a total contrast of way of living. It's like, wow, you know what that's like. But on the flip side of it,
That would feel scary to me.
right? Exactly. That's security for me. That's
Hmm.
not scary at all.
No.
But what is really also interesting, and especially as I said, that there's no veil right now. Things are so, all over the place. We talk about the energies of things. There are times that I actually don't even know who I'm talking to.
Oh, I thought that part was normal. Is that new for you? Because I never know who I'm talking to. That
So
part is not new for me.
So, in the sense that when even if in doing sometimes for readings for people, there were certain things in terms of as a medium as you're coming
Mm.
in, I can tell you I've got your dad here, blah blah blah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like right now the messaging is at the point when in that sense they're giving me the message and talking about stuff before I've even been able to bring any evidence through whatsoever. I have no idea who I'm talking to. It's just important that this be said to you right
Oh, that is
now.
absolutely happening. Yes, yes, that is
Yes,
that. And I'll start it and be like, I have no idea who this is yet. I'll
I
get
don't.
back to you.
Yeah,
With any luck,
exactly.
I'll eventually figure this out, right?
Yeah,
Eventually, right?
and it's made
Like
me.
I'm not even able to hit record fast
Yeah, and
enough.
it's made me feel like almost questioning my own mediumship abilities and the fact that like where did that go? I used to be able to bring that in no problem, and now it's
Yeah,
not even an important part of the equation. But yeah, when it comes to guides and things like that, I have no I mean no, it's just coming in, and so I'm just channeling, I'm just talking. This is
yeah.
this is
You mean in
this is coming from
sessions? Yeah.
right, but I mean in sessions with people, that's what's changed significantly.
You know what else? So, and maybe you will understand this because I this happened to me the other day and it messed me up. It messed me up huge because I mean, I have experienced like I've been in a situation before where somebody's come through that's passed on, that was passed on for a long time, right?
Yeah,
Or was passed on from a different country, like their grandma who's Italian or
yeah,
Greek or whatever. And I can't understand a word they're saying because they never spoke English, right?
right.
So I can't understand it, right? But I've never had it before. This happened to me the other day. I'm I know because I can see him. It took me a few minutes, but I was able to see him enough to know that it was her dad, right? So I was
Yeah.
able to pick up on that it was her dad right away. But I was getting so frustrated because I looked around like, did your dad, like, I got to tell you, as a clairvoyant, I feel like your dad lived here. And she's like, no, he did. They were like, like, my first brother was going to be born in Canada. That's how young they were when they came from Italy. And I was like, did he not speak fluent English? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, because I got to tell you, I feel like he spoke English, French, and Italian. And she's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we have a problem. And she's like, what? I'm like, he can't speak English. Like, I am not getting any English. None.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got straight up freaking Italian going. And
Yes.
I don't
Yes.
speak Italian.
When I move into my sessions, I speak Ukrainian, I speak Spanish, I speak Italian. Oh my gosh, yes. I say words, I'm like, I have no idea, but I'm just going to repeat what it is I'm hearing. And people are like, oh my God, you said it exactly. You said it. I know exactly what they said. This is what, and then
I've
my
never
client,
been able
my
to do
client will translate it for me because I have no idea what was said. I just offer it in how I'm hearing it, in how that individual is talking to me, and I just relay it. And suddenly I have all these. Oh yeah, I speak French fluently. You'd be just amazed at what happens. I have
I have
no idea what
never
I'm
done that.
saying.
I have never been able to do
Yeah,
that. So
yeah,
I like if they've never spoken English, I can't understand them, but I can at least I used to be able to at least understand by their hand movements or the image
right,
because as a clairvoyant, then they could shoot me images to understand,
right,
right? Like so
right.
I'd get a connection. I'd be like, oh, I think this is what they're saying. And then someone would come in and be like, absolutely, that I know exactly,
Yeah.
right? I've never been able to do the languages. Obviously, that is the significant difference between a clairvoyant and a medium. So that I
See,
really
there you
want to
go.
experience that with you because that would I'd be like, oh look, she's possessed. It'd be
Oh
the
yeah.
first time in my
Oh,
life I'd ever
if
think
you
of possession.
And if you ever get into any of my other things, I mean, not only do I talk languages, but then I talk light language too. So that really gets freaky for people. So
Oh, yeah, I don't want to be a part of that one. I would
yeah,
like to not
yeah.
experience that one.
Oh,
But it
it's really
was,
cool.
I bet for you, even I have limitations.
My clients are like raving about it. They're like, "Oh my gosh!" But you see, this is what else has really changed in my work is that was something that when I talked about, I wish they would give it to me just in layman's terms and help me understand. Like, I don't know if people understand how I channel doesn't necessarily, right? It's honestly in a completely different foreign language or a foreign tongue that is, and I will speak those words out loud. Contextually, I have no idea what they're
Of
telling
course
me,
not. Yeah. Yeah.
but it's all coming through, and then it's like, oh yeah, I know exactly what to do. It all makes sense. Like, it's boom, there it is. Like, so lots of times in the channeling of it, right? So I used to only do that for myself. I only used to do that for myself. I would sit down and put a recorder on, and I would receive all this information, and I would just channel, and I just talk, and it would be in a completely different language, a completely different form. And that was just for me. And I would listen back to it, and I would take in the energies, I'd take in the healing. And I had a knowing of what took place, although I couldn't put it into words for you to explain it. But now they've moved it into such a way that I actually took it public. I actually do like my monthly activation series where I actually do this. My all of my client sessions, when I really get into when we're doing a lot of healing work and things like that, all of a sudden, boom, there they are. And now this is happening in those sessions, and people are going like, "Oh my God, like, can you teach me that?" And I said, "I can't teach you how to do it. All I can tell you is you have to allow it. You just have to allow it." But it's like the next level of weird. It's the next level. So yeah,
That definitely
language.
makes what you do totally different than what I do. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm noticing. I think so. So first of all, it's the one like the I used to be able to get an image or something so that I can understand,
Yeah. Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
problem is that they're talking so fast now
So
that I can't.
fast. Yes.
Like it's on super speed, and it's so I'm not even understanding the words, right? Which is
Yes.
creating a real frustration for me. I got to tell you, and then I'm having to put my links together because it's
Yeah. Yeah.
one of the ways that you could sort of describe me is that it's like I'm like this. I pull all these cords in my visions that I can put
Yeah.
it together. It's like Where's Waldo? I'm constantly doing a Where's Waldo
Yes.
exercise. It's just insane. And so that's gotten way much faster and way more intense, if you
Yeah.
will. But I've never been able to do what you do. Just for the record, don't come to me if you want to hear light language, because I do not actually know what that is.
And
I don't.
I don't even plan to do it. Here's the other part of it. It's not even like I'm going to go in this session and this is going to happen. No, this is about I'm going to
That's
connect
such a
with someone.
shame because we could totally plan that first. Damn it.
Right? Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, no, it's in the middle. It's in the middle of things where it's almost like it's needing to happen.
Moving
So
forward, everyone, if you see her starting to talk in tongues, it's okay. Don't
yeah, it's
stress.
completely normal.
Don't
It's
be
completely normal.
alarmed. All is right in the world.
I always tell my
I might
students,
freak out a
okay,
little bit, but that's okay.
yeah, always tell my students, I'm like, you're hanging out with me now. Things are going to get a little weird because I never know what's going to happen. I truly
I
don't.
I
But it's
definitely
like,
tell all of
so
my
I
students
mean,
that too.
I can channel like from from loved ones in different languages and speak that, or I can sit down and do the trans channeling, of course, that can happen as well. The toning and then now light language in the last 6 months. I don't understand this, but definitely been a lot of things. Is in what's coming through is about really helping people in shifting the energy, shifting through the energy, moving in
Yeah.
vibration patterns, understanding and just taking out of the fog and
Yeah.
moving them and taking them out of the energy they've been participating in. So it's been
Mm-hmm.
really an interesting unfolding, and yeah,
But
I'm
it's
more
so
tired
much
than I've.
harder now.
Yeah, I was saying, and I'm a lot more tired than I used to be too.
Right?
And
I have
yes, again, for
never.
everybody out there, yes, I'm a woman in my 50s, and I know there's all kinds of things we can talk about, the changes that
Yeah,
are
I get
happening in our
that.
life on a physical level and all of those things. Yes, that's all
I
110%.
100% estrogen rage,
100%.
just so you guys all know. I get the hot flashes. I understand.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all normal.
That's
This,
normal. This is
not
not
normal.
normal.
Not
But
normal.
somehow so normal for us. And yet if we, and going back to what your client, what people said to you, or like, would you not be or would you be, you must be afraid always, or you always have somebody with you. You're never alone. And so to me, even though this isn't normal, this is comfort. This is normal for me.
Yes.
This is how I live and breathe and be in my life.
It's a higher elevated
Yeah.
normal, right? Like,
Right.
so it's still, it's still off for us too,
Yeah.
but we have a different comfort because we're used to being surrounded. Right. So it's not on a day-to-day basis, it doesn't feel as intense for me. And I'm noticing, I notice this a lot with my husband, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because he can get so agitated and so angry and so
Yes.
frustrated so quickly.
Quickly.
And
Hmm.
I'm sort of looking at him going, I don't know
Yeah.
what just happened, right? Like, I don't,
Right.
so, like, I don't understand the flash of those emotions, but I'm seeing it everywhere. I'm seeing it in my sessions. Like,
Oh,
people are getting
yes. Oh,
agitated or they're getting
yes.
accusatory, right? Angry, volatile. Like, I'm
Yeah.
seeing all that happen,
Yeah.
and I'm not falling into that trap. I'm
Yes.
falling into the confused space, right?
Yes.
Like, it's like somebody took my ADHD and upped it like 1,000 megawatts, if that makes any sense. Like, I go into squirrel mode so quickly. Like, things are happening
Yeah.
so fast around me, I can't even
Yeah.
establish a feeling,
Right.
right?
Yep.
So that's really like, I'm struggling with that, but I am noticing that everybody is really struggling with their agitation levels and their
Oh, big time.
frustration levels. I walked into the grocery store the other day to go get something and moved out of somebody's way. I'm like, oh, sorry. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Fuck off.
What?
Okay. like so
Yeah.
the tenseness that is out there right now is just,
Yes.
I need to put a sign up again because I don't have control of my voice, my words anymore. So I need to put a sign up that says don't swear. I was getting so good at that. I was getting so
There's
good at not swearing.
so anytime for those who are watching that you all of a sudden hear, there's a big kind of beep sign
Yeah,
in it, you know what just happened.
exactly.
Either KJ or myself, we've just come undone. So,
Yeah. Good news, our YouTube channel is not for children's ears.
right.
So I can get away with it a little bit, but I'm going to have the sign up again. So yeah, that's really the thing that I think that, first of all, we're sharing it today because I think everybody would be interesting to hear how we talk and the kind of things that we go through. But also, I really don't want people to think that they're going crazy. Like things really
Right.
have changed.
Right.
They have
Yes.
changed, right?
Yes. The big
It is
time.
a lot harder to get things done. It is a lot
Yes.
harder to get things done, and you can see it in literally everything that you're paying attention to. And I will say that a part of it, it's important to understand that because energy vibrates at a different level, at a different frequency now, which is intentional. It's that we can get out of this fog.
Yeah.
It's not because the universe is trying to be cruel. Um, but it is important to, especially now, to start really paying attention to where you're putting your energy. And that's
Yeah.
one of the things that, the reason that I'm struggling with the follow through as far as us being together every, Saturday for us to be able to do this. And is because I'm struggling so much with where you're putting your attention. And so if I'm struggling with it and I'm very consciously aware of where I put my
Right.
attention,
Right.
that's part of my lifestyle, is being very consciously aware of where I put my energy
Yes.
and my attention because it's valuable to me. So
Mhm.
if I'm struggling, everybody's struggling a whole lot more, right? I
Absolutely.
I have no qualms with not watching those YouTube videos. I have no qualms with
Yeah.
not subscribing to the politics in Canada or politics in the States, or
Right.
I have no
Yes.
qualms. And people still to this day get frustrated with me because then they think that I don't know what's going on, and that's not true. The universe is very clear. I'm
Yes.
very aware of what's going on. I know exactly who's in. I know what they're doing. Like,
Yeah.
I always look at everybody. I'm not as dumb as I look. Like, I literally channel all of the time. I know what's happening.
Yes.
I don't have to watch the videos to know what's
We
going
turn
on.
into we just tune into a different channel to get our news. That's all.
100%. That's it, right? So, but if like, so I have no problem not doing that. But
Yeah.
because people are in a state of anxiousness, because people are in a state of chaos, because people are so worried, right?
Yeah.
You're investing so much of your time and energy. I don't mean you or me, but you're investing so much of your time
Yeah.
and energy. Like, you got to understand, there's a reason that, Street Politics Canada has got 1 million viewers now when it only used to
Right.
have 100,000. Like, we are getting inundated everywhere. And the one thing I really want people to understand is that, first of all, we're all feeding into it because we're watching it constantly. So we're all
Right.
feeding
Yes.
in it. We're feeding the beast. Understand, whether you're on the
Yeah.
right side, whether you're on the left side, whether you're in the middle, doesn't matter. You're feeding the
Doesn't
damn
matter. You're
beast. I
feeding
don't
it.
care. You're feeding it,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
You're feeding the beast. You're feeding that energy. You're losing large pockets of time and
Mhm.
energy because you're focusing on the things you cannot control
Right.
versus the things you can, right?
Mhm.
Now, you and I, in order to do what we do, we had to learn at a very young age how to stop focusing on the things that we can't control and really focus on the things that we can.
Right.
So if we're struggling with that, and that's
Yeah.
our MO, that is our normal,
Yeah.
if we're struggling with that, then others are struggling so much more
Most
intensely,
certainly. Most
right?
certainly. And I
Because
think
we're
just
drawn to the train wreck too. That's the other
yeah.
thing you gotta understand. We're very
Oh yeah.
drawn to the train wreck
Yeah,
energy.
it's our human condition. We have a
Human condition.
negativity bias that just takes us into everything in that way. And
Yeah,
so,
you were born
we
with the ability to lead, and you are taught for the rest of your life to follow.
to follow exactly right.
Train
So
wreck mentality.
this is such an important thing, especially for the empaths that are tuning into this channel, to understand. It's like, yes, that energy that is out there, and you're taking it and you're feeling it, but you're also contributing to it by watching, by
Yes.
engaging with it. So it becomes such an important factor to become conscientious of what it is that
Yep.
you're allowing into your world, because the
100%.
increase of your sensitivity right now, as I said, there is no veil between worlds, and your increase of empathic sensitivity right
Yep.
now is a monopoly.
It
So
is.
understand that you can't, is it's like it's not that you don't care. And that's, I think you said, it's not that I don't care about what's going on in the world. I absolutely do. It's just that I care so much that I need to function and be within the energies that are most supportive to
And
me,
be
so
able
I
to make
can
the difference I can
contribute,
make.
so I can help others, right? It's such an
Correct.
important thing.
And you get lost in it, but also you get the right, because we are getting so lost in it, because we're all watching it so
Mhm.
much. And I'm including me and you. I don't think you and I watch it a lot, honestly. I mean, it takes
Yeah,
an awful lot, right?
I
Like,
actually don't even know who's running in the States. I had no idea. Like I was
you're
just like,
good.
I'm like, I
You're
don't
not
know what's
missing
going
you're
on.
not missing anything. You're not missing anything, I assure
I mean,
you.
I think maybe now I might be up to date because
I
somebody
think
filled
most
me in,
people
but up
wish
until
they
that
had no
point.
idea. Um, but like, so now, because I'm on YouTube a lot, obviously, because I'm
Yeah.
trying to learn about
Yes.
what we want to do, right? So I'm on YouTube a lot, and now it's got to be very intense. They've got to be really intense titles. Like they've got to be something that makes me go, "Oh my lord!" Right? Like
Yeah.
I watched one because it said Trudeau's arrested, and I was like, "What?"
What?
Jumped,
Yeah.
and I was on it for like 2 seconds. And I was like, "Screw you, off!" Right? Like,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that wasn't what it was. It was
It
just a
wasn't.
catcher, which is fine.
Yes.
But you got to understand, like, the other thing that people have to understand is that we're so drawn to that chaos, but also it's also changing so drastically, right? I
Yeah.
don't know that there has ever been a time that for an example, going into a voting period for a new president, for an example, and I know lots of countries are going and they're voting, this is their
Hmm.
voting year at the
This
same
voting year.
time, which
Yeah.
is unusual, and I'm sure it probably increases the intenseness of it. But
Yeah.
it used to be that week to week the blues and the reds would change,
Yes.
week to week, or maybe a couple of weeks, or man, that was such a good debate that over 2 weeks it totally flipped more reds, or it totally flipped. It is hourly.
Yes.
It is not weekly anymore. It is hourly.
Hourly.
Literally, you can watch one video and another video will come up an hour later that it has absolutely switched. And what was a blue state is now a red state. And it's like, it's
Yeah.
happening. Things are happening so quickly that you can't keep up, first of all.
Right.
You
Right.
can't keep up, right? And so because you can't keep up, you're also starting to feel more frantic because you can't keep up, right?
Hmm.
So you can't keep up and you're actually scared. And we all have reasons. I mean, coaching clients are asking me all the time, like, and they tell
Hmm.
me all the time how relieved they are because they know that I will tell them, and
Yeah.
I have, right? Like they
Yes.
know that I'll
Yes.
say, put your house on the market, and that means get the hell out of
Get.
Dodge because things are about to go bad, right? So
Yes.
they know, and they have that advantage, which they think is awesome. It's part of what they say. It's a part of what they pay me the big bucks for, which is fine.
Right.
But
Yeah.
it's happening so quickly that you can't possibly get to a solution.
Right.
So because you can't possibly get to a solution, right? Like the decision isn't even happening until November, right?
Yeah.
But we're creating such chaos because we keep feeding the beast, because we keep losing ourselves, right? We keep
Yes.
losing ourselves in this, we keep losing ourselves in YouTube, which I know is going to sound really contradictory because we really do want you to like and subscribe and be a part of the channel.
Exactly.
We'd
But
like you to feed the beast
it's
here
about
too.
what you're tuning into really matters. What you tune into really matters,
It is
because when
so
you're
important right
what your
now.
vision, what you're taking in with your eyes, what you're watching on the news, what you're watching on YouTube, it all matters. It all matters because it's influencing your anxiety, it's
It is.
influencing your depression, it's influencing your feeling like you're out of the world is out of control. That's
And
what's
it always
happening.
has.
And it always has,
And it
right?
always has. This is
Yes.
important. The whole way that any of us got any of our belief systems, understand, no belief system exists for any of us without repetition. Okay?
Mhm.
So any belief system, no matter what you have, no matter what your you can call it your protection detail, your royal guard, your brain, I don't give a crap. I've got numerous names for it
Yeah,
that I
yeah,
can
yeah,
show
yeah.
you over the years. Whichever one's going to make it easier for you to understand, don't care, right? Um it you've always had to be careful of what you continue to hear, because
Mhm.
repetition has always turned into your reality. It has always turned into
Yes.
your truth. Always.
Mhm.
That has
Always.
never not existed. Okay. If a person tells you a few times that you're stupid, if you're a kid and a teacher tells you that you're not that smart, All it's going to take is 3 or 4 times, and then you're going to start having a conversation with yourself that says you're stupid, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're doing, you don't know how to do this, and then that's going to turn into your truth. It's going to turn into your belief system. Okay, so this is important because all it takes is repetition. And the problem is that now we're getting reputation on super speed.
Yes.
Okay, like literally in an hour, you can hear the same thing from 20 different people. And then it becomes a part of your truth, right? So then it becomes a part of your story. Then you take it on and you start to say it.
Yeah.
And I get so frustrated because as a clairvoyant, I know that is being done to restrict us. I know the technique. I'm a psychologist, I'm a therapist, I'm a clairvoyant. I know the technique. I know that we are literally trained to do it to people. Okay.
Yeah.
I even do it. The difference is I manipulate you for your greater good versus my greater good, right? Like
there's a difference.
Absolutely a technique, right?
Yes.
It is absolutely a technique. And it is being done intentionally to limit us. Okay. It's being done intentionally because then we're living a whole new world that we have no idea how it got here.
So, and I was explaining
and you're not getting anywhere. You're not achieving anything because you're getting
and
so caught up in these.
And you end up playing in other people's paradigms. You're playing in other people's worlds and other people's truths. And now you're engaging in it so much that, as KJ said, you're forming a whole different truth, and it's not even your truth.
And it's not even true.
And it's not even true. Exactly.
It's not even true.
It's not even true. Exactly.
Right? Like, and it's so I'm just going to use an example, and I'm not trying to get political on people. I have a perfect example for everybody to understand. And before any of you respond with, it was a dude, I love you all, zip it, and just hear what I'm saying. Just hear the topic, not the outcome.
Not the outcome, exactly.
But just an example during the Olympics, right? During the Olympics and the one boxing match, because it's all started from one boxing match that one of the women athletes stopped at 46 seconds.
Yes.
And walked away, right? Because she had never been so hit in her life. And it blew into a snowstorm that it's a transgender, that it's a male, that they should never be in. And none of what I'm saying right now is anything about truth. I cannot tell you if it was a male or a female. I cannot tell you. I would love to tell you that I have my degree in human biology, but I do not. So, not going to lie to you. I don't actually understand X, Y, X, X.
Right.
I have an innie. I'm a girl. That's what I understand. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so I'm not trying to confuse anybody, right? Yeah. The point that I'm talking about is how fast, how instantaneous,
how fast it spread.
It snowballed into every news outlet from the right to the left to the everything in between. I made one post saying, can everybody just take a pause? Like, let's just take a pause. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not giving you my opinion. Can we just take a pause till we can get some factual information before everybody roasts this athlete on the pit? That's it. That's all I'm asking. I'm not saying don't roast. If it turns out they should be roasted, roast. But can we? Can we at least just give it a minute to go buy some damn marshmallows before we decide to light the fire? Like, give it a second.
Yeah.
Nothing in our world is happening in a second. It was instantaneous.
Yeah.
You now have a person, regardless, who is trying to defend themselves, like, over what?
Right.
Right? And I'm not saying it's not a big deal. It's that 10 years ago, this would have been a conversation.
Yeah.
It would have been a conversation. We would have heard it on the 6 o'clock news.
Yeah.
right? And I understand that, internet is everywhere, but what people aren't understanding is that we are all feeding the beast, and we're feeding the beast because that's where
Mhm.
we're putting the energy. And even if you think about it, and that's what I'm asking you all to do. I'm not asking you all to think about what other people's opinions were. I'm
Right.
asking you to think about how fast you jumped to your opinion and your belief system without all the information. How
Mhm.
fast did that trigger happen? Because it was instantaneous, right?
Right.
And I'm using this as an example. The reason I'm using this as an example is because it happened to me too. It happened to me too. Soon as I seen it, I instantly got mad. Instantly.
Yeah.
I was instantly against it. This is so unfair. This poor girl who had to cancel her instantly. And it took me, and thank God I don't immediately post. Thank you. Thank God I don't immediately post because I would have, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thank God I learned
Just
because
wait.
I'm just,
Mhm.
and it took me like 15 to
Mhm.
20 minutes. And it was in
Mhm.
15 because as a clairvoyant, I'm actually very rational thinking, right? So it took me about 15, 20 minutes. And then I'm stopping. I'm like, wait a minute. There are some things that are not adding up. Like right away, there are some things that are not adding up. So I instantly stopped. My trigger fell down right away,
Yeah.
right? And then it became irrelevant to me because I instantly registered that there were things that don't make any sense. So if it doesn't make any sense, I don't need to listen to it anymore because it doesn't make any sense, right? That's how I
Right.
function. As soon as I register something doesn't make any sense, if it matters to me, I'll go investigate to get the answer. If it's my circus and my monkeys, I'll go investigate to get the answer. If
Right.
it's not my circus and my monkeys, and I mean no disrespect to anybody, can you ever picture me unless they decide to make clairvoyant an Olympic sport? I mean, maybe car beating. If they did that, I might go to that, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
so so then I let it go because it no longer. It's not my circus. It's not my monkeys, which I really think
Right.
people need to learn. Not my circus, not my monkeys. But that's not what's happening to everybody. What's
Mhm.
happening to everybody is that it's becoming, and that's what I really want people have to understand. This is all a change of energy, right?
Mhm.
And it all started with the division. It all started with creating a division.
Separation.
Okay,
Yeah.
separation of church and state, man,
Mhm.
right? It
Absolutely.
all became division. And just give me 1 second, you guys, because my son is running to California. And even though I'm recording, I actually need to answer the door. Hi, Gigi. I love
Oh,
you.
Love you.
I love
gotta
you.
love the love. It's so awesome.
You go have a wonderful trip, okay? And take
Thank
good care
you.
of yourself because mom needs you to come home.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. Mwah. I love you,
Love you.
baby. My gorgeous boy. It doesn't matter how old they get. I am still like the proudest mama
I
on the planet.
know.
I don't
Seriously, I
care.
get it.
I don't, it
I
doesn't,
get it.
and it was funny because he's leaving tomorrow. Just so everybody understands, I'm really not trying to interrupt what we're doing, but he's leaving tomorrow and he's gone for three
It's
weeks. He
fair.
works, he builds really big, huge buildings. He's actually a little excited. He's going to help build a building for Musk.
Ooh,
So yeah, he's
nice.
doing Tesla stuff in California. So, but Mama's got to have her hug, otherwise I'm going to turn
Of
into a.
course. Oh my gosh, of course.
I don't want to show up at the airport at 6 o'clock in the morning, running through the terminal, screaming that he better hug his mom before he gets his butt whooped. The boy's in his
I was just
30s.
gonna
I
say,
probably shouldn't embarrass him.
he's probably not wanting you to do that either. You
Oh,
might
and
not
I
want to be
would.
doing it, but he definitely doesn't want you to.
Exactly. Exactly. So we've got to be able to understand that we're getting sort of so caught up so quickly. And it all started with the division. And now,
Hmm.
and this is the exact example for people to understand how belief systems turn into
Yeah,
reality
yeah,
because now it's
right.
becoming your way of life.
Yeah.
Okay. It went from being something that was so overwhelming and so confusing, and people really question, like, okay, why should I not like them? Because
Yeah.
if they're not coming to my house, they're not hurting my grandparents. Like, why should I be mad at them? To immediately everybody's jumping on the same bandwagons, and it has literally changed our energy,
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
we're losing, and that's the other thing. Not only is your energy changing, but you're losing pockets of time,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
If you and I are losing pockets of time and we legitimately go out of the way, if we're having a hard time healing, if we're having a hard time keeping our energies, we live our entire life based on using, like, I'm sure you have just as many tools in your toolbox. Like, my
Yep.
routine normally is insane in order to
Yes.
function.
Yes. My
My
husband,
routine has had to increase 1,000-fold.
yeah, my husband always tells me I'm high maintenance.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, yeah. And
Me
he's like,
too, but
oh,
that's
right.
their fault.
No, he's like, whatever you need to do. He said, I understand you're high maintenance. You just go take care. And I'm like, I am. I know I am. I'm legit. Not only in
100%.
terms of like, we could say our physical life, but the energetic aspect, I'm high maintenance. Absolutely. I am.
Yes.
In order to keep my vibration high, I need to be.
We got to be, right?
Yes.
And so that's the thing. One of the reasons that I would love to see people, and it's one of the things that we're going to change here. So first, I'm just going to let everybody know we are going to be going live soon, and we're actually going to advertise it to our
Yeah.
clients first. But we're going
Yeah.
to go because between the two of us, we've got 30, 40, 50,000 people that
We got, we got a few people. There's a couple
deserve,
there.
you
There's a
know,
couple.
deserve the honor of hearing when we're going to go live before people who don't know us do.
Yeah.
But we are going to start going live, and we're actually going to start doing live sessions right on YouTube. We've decided to do that. That is absolutely coming. It's coming
Dun,
quickly.
da, da, da. We should have
Yep.
had we should have a drum roll there.
We
Insert
should
drum
have.
roll.
We should have. As
Yeah.
soon as I got my stream deck working, I'll make sure I got
Dun, da,
that.
da,
Exactly. But the other
da.
the other thing, the other thing that I'm really hoping that people will actually start to come and watch us for, because this is an advantage that we have that a lot of people just don't have.
Yeah.
We had to learn how to raise our vibration to survive pre 2019, right?
Right.
So we already know how to do this. We have lived this our entire lives. This is not new for us. Having to raise vibration, does it take time? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Is it taking us time?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, right? But
Mm-hmm.
we know how to do it. We know how to do it. That is a huge advantage
Yeah.
for everybody who's going to be watching, because that's something that you and I want to do. Is we want to come here and help you learn how to do this, because if you're not if you're not getting in the elevator energetically and raising to a higher apartment building, you're
Yeah.
going to stay in the fog. There's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
no other way around it.
Yeah.
No other way
Agreed.
around it.
Agreed. And I think it's great. I just want to say, to everybody, and that's just it. There's so many, just coming into a conversation like this, bringing KJ and I together, what happens to you even in viewing, I would say that's a benefit there too. And I'm not saying
Yeah.
that from an ego place.
No.
It's just the energy of it that, my greatest prayer always is that to always leave people feeling better as a result of being with me. And that
Then when
includes
they
being
entered.
here.
Yeah.
Right. That includes right here in this channel. So
Yep.
yeah, come hang out with us. Of course, like,
Exactly.
comment, share. We're going to be going, as KJ said, we're going to be going live. We've got lots of fun things planned, and I'm right on, with her too.
Yeah.
It's really kind of been this is new. This is a new channel. We're
is.
finding our groove. We're finding life is still happening for us. And we just want to thank you for your patience.
100%.
And of course, thanking you for showing up and for being a part of these conversations with us. You really matter. You really do matter to us. So
And
thank you.
really tell us what you want us to talk about too.
Yeah.
Like, I gotta tell you,
Yes.
Bonnie and I can go on some tangents, and they're fun. Like, we can go on some fun
Yeah.
tangents. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not just about what's going to happen, or
Mm-mm.
we have so many skills. Like, we don't just, it's
Yeah.
so important to understand, you're not just a medium in your office.
Right.
You're a coach. You teach people how to shift their lives and live a different
Yeah.
life. I mean, I'm a coach, I'm a psychologist, I'm a therapist, we don't just do this one thing.
Yeah.
And especially in energies now, and especially in how our world is working, you need more of people like us. The world needs more of people like us. The world needs you.
More of people like you who are watching. The people
100%.
We need more of people like
it
you.
needs more
Yes.
of the people just like you,
Yes.
learning how to trust what you can see and feel and hear.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that you can rise above the fog, so that you can trust yourself more, so that you can achieve anything instead of feeling like you're spinning your wheels, right? There isn't, no matter what the world is doing, no matter what society is doing, no matter what your grocery bills are going to get to, no matter what your housing cost is going to get you to, you can vibrate above it so that it does not affect you.
Yeah.
You can vibrate above it so that it
Yeah.
doesn't affect you, so that you can attract, instead of used to needing a $20,000 down payment, you can attract a $200,000 down payment. Okay. You just have to raise above the
The
fog.
fog,
And you got
right?
to do that by trusting what's going on inside of you. And you're not going to trust what's going on inside of you
Yeah.
as long as you're too busy gaining opinions of things that does not affect you at the
Hmm.
end of the day,
Hmm.
right? Because you don't have control of these things. I would love to tell you that you do. I would love to believe I have control of what the powers that be are going to do too, but we
Yeah,
don't,
yeah. We totally
right?
don't. We totally.
You got
And
to
just what
focus on
think.
what you can control.
And you know what? We never are. I mean, I think that's the game of our
Ever.
life here
That's
too.
not
We're
new.
never, we're not in the know. We'll never be in the
Mm-mm.
know. We're never going to be in the control of it. But how we're being and how we're showing up and the things that we're practicing and engaging with are so quintessential for our well-being as energy
100%.
sensitives. We have an energetic responsibility not only in our own lives but to each other, and so it becomes so important that we really become conscientious of that. Our spirits are ever looking for expression and
Yes.
expansion, and if we are not in that moment, then we're in suffering. And so the suffering would say we're in the fog, and so we've got to do our part to get out of the fog, because we're here, as we all rise, we help, we kind of unite and we bring the whole
100%.
planet up. And again, the world needs it. The world needs it. KJ and I need it, and of course we
Yeah.
know you need it too, as you're tuning in.
And this is so important to understand, because if you stay in that fog for too long, which is what's, happening, you're not going to reach your curriculum, which is the whole reason you're here. The whole
Yeah,
reason
yeah.
you're here is to learn experience, and you're not going to do that. And
Hmm.
if you're not going to do that, then your soul isn't going to stick around. If you're not going to learn and grow, then your soul is going to choose to go back home.
Hmm.
And if you all think that you can't function without your heart, you do not understand, because you cannot. Your body, your brain cannot function without your soul, which
Right.
means people will be dying sooner than they're supposed to. They'll be dying
Yeah.
out of contract. And I understand so many of you are going to comment why they're dying. You and I have a much different perspective, because they're dying because of giving up, because
Yeah.
they're in the fog. Okay. You have to rise your vibration so that you can reach your goals and you can reach your tools. And
Yeah.
our world is still not a bad place. It has
No,
bad
it's really
people,
not.
right?
It always
It's not a bad
has.
place, but it has always had bad people.
It's
It has
always
always had
had.
evil. It has always had
Yeah.
the need to find the balance. It has always had the need to raise the vibration. So whether you're raising your vibration by going to church and finding God, you're raising the
Yeah.
vibration to coming to us and finding the universe, you're raising your vibration by starting to watch Sesame Street and believing in Kermit the Frog. I don't
Right?
care.
That's
I don't
exactly.
care. God, universe, Kermit the Frog. I don't care. You just need to raise the vibration. Like, you just
Yeah.
need to raise the vibration. And
Yeah.
that's what we're here for. So
Yeah.
I'm
Love it.
sure you're ready too. We're gonna check off. We're gonna stop. We're gonna let everybody go. We hope you have a wonderful day. Share with
Yeah.
us anything you want. Absolutely comment, in case haven't you guys have noticed. One
Yes.
of us is always responding when we see a comment. We get it right away, so we
Yes.
respond. And we look forward to all talking to you next week. I think
Yes.
I think what we're gonna try to do, if this, I'm just gonna share everybody, is we're gonna try to get stable with one a week, is what we're going to try to do, so that we can
Yeah.
sort of get into the rhythm, and then we'll start to add more once we can find our extra energy and our, then we'll
Yeah.
add more. But I think our goal is to just be able to show you guys once a week, and be here for
Yeah.
you.
And you know what? And we're going to just keep growing and we're going
Yeah,
to keep showing up. And of course, we just invite you to, follow through with that as well. So thank you. Thank you to
100%.
everybody. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad for this conversation.
Yeah, it was
Grateful,
fun.
of course, for everybody tuning in. And until next time, sweet friends.
Exactly. Until
All right.
next time, we'll
Bye.
see you later.